Keeper Kendall Wright. Touchdown, Tigers! Touchdown, Kendall Wright! Well, hey, everybody. This is Brady Henderson, your voice of the Swansea Tigers, and you're listening to the Swansea Tigers Sports Network Basketball Preview Show. We are exactly 24 hours away from tip-off tomorrow night at Swansea High School in the gymnasium. Your Swansea Tigers are going to be taking on the Pelion Panthers. The ladies first, the guys to follow. I'm here with my friends and color commentators, Matt and Noel. You guys doing okay?
Doing good tonight. How about you?
Doing wonderful.
Well, good. Well, obviously you guys know that are listening, we are live right now, just like we're going to be live tomorrow night. So let me kind of clarify a few housekeeping things for you. We will have two separate streams tomorrow, and they'll both be on YouTube. We'll go live for the girls at about 5:45, and then we'll be going live for the boys about 10-15 minutes for tip-off with them as well. So really looking forward to that. We have not broadcasted a game live. We have called a game on PA, but we're going to preview a little bit about that tonight, talk about some things. And yes, this is live, but this is also archived. So let's say you can only listen in for 5 minutes, catch the rest later. Preview show won't be too long, but we just appreciate you guys tuning in. This is the first time that we're live, and this is the same format that we'll be taking for baseball, which is coming quicker than you know it. First pitch at home on March the 9th against Pelion as well. And then football season. And we got a lot of special things planned for that. So YouTube is the hub where you can find us live, where you can check in on what we're doing, and all those good things. So thanks for being here. Stick around. We're going to take a 30-second break, and we're going to look at the Lady Tigers against the Pelion Lady Panthers. Stick around. We'll see you in just a minute. For your best smile, visit West Columbia Dental, conveniently located near Lexington Medical Center at 2318 Sunset Boulevard, where Swansea High graduate Dr. Brant Cope and his friendly team believe your smile is as unique as you are. Experience personalized, expert dental care designed just for you. Whether it's a routine checkup or a complete smile makeover, trust Dr. Cope to keep you smiling bright. Call 803-794-6464 to schedule your appointment today. Your best smile starts here. Well, we're back. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Dr. Cope. And so, Matt, kind of looking at tomorrow, somebody that you graduated with, a Swansea alumni, Zach Green, is the head coach of the ladies. He is 11-13 in his career. Previous stops include South Aiken High. But you know Zach, and we've gotten to know him, too. We've done a post-game with him. But just talk a little bit about Zach Green, his style of coaching, and what you've seen so far. By the way, Swansea ladies are 4-2. Pelion ladies are 4-4. So talk a little bit about Coach Green and what he's trying to do.
Yeah, as long as I've known him growing up in Swansea, he's played basketball. He's always had that, he was a point guard. So he was always knowing how to run the offense, and he just always had that thing about him where he knew how to coach also. So, I mean, I would say that he's the right man for the job. He's early in his career, but I feel like if he stays in it, he's going to have success.
Yeah, absolutely. Great guy, too. And works in the school district. I believe that Francis Mack does a great job there, and really nice guy. So obviously the Lady Tigers have only competed in non-con so far. We're still in that. I mean, most colleges are just now getting into conference play. We'll be getting into that pretty soon later this month. But for now, the Tigers have only had non-con games. And the first matchup, they've already played Pelion. Unlike the boys, they've only played them one time. The boys have played them twice, but we'll get to the boys in a moment. But the first matchup was at Pelion. The Lady Tigers won that one, 46-37. Only 2 losses on the season, a 4-point loss when Columbia came to town, and then Williston Elko on the road, 49-46. So the Lady Tigers look to finish up non-conference and hopefully to do that well, because region play begins for the Lady Tigers at Keenan on January the 13th. So, no, talk a little bit about how many points the Lady Tigers are averaging per game, and then I'll talk a little bit about the quarter-by-quarter statistics.
The Lady Tigers come in pretty good. They're averaging about 41.8 points per game. With that play in there, it's really strong for them to get in and get those points in. And then as you break down the quarter by quarter, we'll be able to see when they actually get the most points per quarter.
Yeah, exactly. So by quarter, we've broken that up statistically. They're averaging 9 points a game in the first quarter, 8 points a game in the second quarter, 9.0 in the fourth quarter. But the third quarter is kind of where I wanted to talk about. We'll definitely need to talk about it during the broadcast tomorrow night and see how it goes. They have a 17.3 points a game scored in the third quarter. And obviously, Matt, you could tell us what comes right before the third quarter.
Halftime.
Yeah. And with halftime comes what? Halftime adjustments.
That's
and so obviously those are being made. You do not always see that in a basketball team. Having played myself, having coached, and also having refed, you don't always see that with teams coming out strong in the third quarter. It could be sluggish, but they're pretty good, especially defensively. 40.2 points per game is what they're giving up. But you can't talk about the Lady Tiger defense without talking about number 13, Ayanna Butler. And she is the center, coming in at 6 feet tall. Number 13. One thing that I think is definitely going to be a key for tomorrow night is not just her, but the entire team staying out of foul trouble. Obviously, the Tiger defense is very aggressive. You see that. The game we called several weeks ago at Blackville Hilda, I can't remember off the top of my head, but a ton of blocks. I think 6 was the number. Is that right?
Yeah, she had 6 blocks, and she had 17 rebounds as well.
Yeah. I mean, that was incredible. And Blackville Hilda was not a small team, by the way. And so they, hard competition there. Ayanna Butler is really key to this. He scores a lot of points as well, specifically off those rebounds. Another player I think we need to highlight that needs to get off to a good start early is point guard Nyla Washington. Talk a little bit, Matt, about her style of play, and obviously she's the point guard, so discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, she goes after the ball on defense, and she really controls that offense, setting everybody up, making sure they're in position to make a play.
And Ayanna and Nyla are both juniors, and so Coach Zach will have them back next year. Also, another one to look out for, Alicia Riley. And then also Armani Dickerson. That's someone to keep an eye on, and Ayanna Landham. A lot of good players. I believe there's only 9 total on the team, on the varsity team. But especially when you beat these guys by 9 last time, and let me go ahead and preface it with this. In my experience with girls basketball, when you can score 9 points in girls basketball, meaning a 9-point lead, that's equivalent to about a 20-point lead in a boys game as far as how the flow of girls basketball goes. And how those things go. So really looking forward to tonight's game. Like I said, you could join us at 5:45. We'll have the pregame show around 5:55. Matt and Noel will be with you. I will do the PA starting lineups, and then I'll be back with you for play-by-play and these two guys to do color with you. And then let's talk a little bit about the Pelion girls. We do need to touch on them. They've gone 4-4 this season. It is important to point out that Swansea is the only opponent that the Panthers have played who is not in the 1A classification. And so the Lady Panthers are 4-4, so they have a 500 record. They have played 2 more games than the Tigers. They are averaging 39.9 points per game, and they're giving up 38.3, very similar to that of Swansea. Their quarter-by-quarter statistics, 11.1 in the first, 11.3 points scored in the second, in the third, 9.3, and then 8.6 points scored in the fourth quarter. So obviously you see the hot starts there. Basketball is a game of rhythm and runs, right? Rhythm and runs are squared, and so you're going to have to watch that early, especially with Pelion. There is going to be a larger crowd tomorrow than usual because of this rivalry game. Key players to look out for them: sophomore guard Emma Falal, number 1, 8.2 points per game. But what points out to me about her is 5.6 steals per game. Freshman forward Madison Kaiser, 17 points per game, 7 rebounds a game, and shoots 40% from the floor. Senior center Gordon Ariana, number 14. 9.6 rebounds per game. It'll be interesting, and we can talk about this tomorrow during the broadcast about how that matchup between Butler and Ariana is going to go. And then, of course, sophomore guard Ashlyn Brazel. She's young, and they're bringing her along, but 5.4 points a game, 6.4 steals a game. What tells me about this, the consistency with having different people that can score at least more than 5 points, is that if one of these girls gets hot, it's going to be a problem. because they are capable of scoring. Now, they are young, and that is important to point out that they have given up 21.4 turnovers a game on offense. Tells me that they're young, they're scrappy, and at times loose with the basketball. Y'all's thoughts on how the Tiger offense can exploit a little bit of that youth when it comes to the Pelion Panthers?
Well, I would just say that knowing that they are kind of loose with the basketball, our girls need to be on them and, try to get that ball away from them, but stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
If we can steal it cleanly, and we just got to capitalize on those turnovers.
And, I mean, that's honestly something that I would look for out of Nyla Washington. If you look at her length, you look at how she plays basketball, and you know that they're being coached in practice to keep their arms up consistently because they do that a lot on defense. So
Yes.
We'll be looking forward to see that. Okay, we're going to take another 30-second break, and when we get back, we're going to discuss the men Tigers, the Swansea Tigers, who got their first win in over 3 years over the Christmas break since we talked to you last. We're excited to talk about that. Hang on, 30 seconds. We'll see you in a minute. Are you searching for custom apparel or premier printing located right here in the Midlands? Look no further than Blazon in Gaston. They provide screen printing, embroidery, promotional products, and it is your go-to for custom merchandise. They are also a proud supporter and outfitter of the Swansea Tigers Sports Network. Call them today at 803-796-9100 or visit their website at weareblazon.com. All right, we're back. Thank you for listening to the preview show. Pelion coming to Swansea tomorrow night for the girls and guys basketball games. And so, fellas, we have a lot to talk about with this men's matchup. We have the Pelion Panthers undefeated, okay, at 11-0. Swansea is 1-9. Swansea is coached by David Smith. He's technically, his title is interim head coach, and so he is 1-9. And so tomorrow is the third time this season that the Tigers have faced the Panthers, and that's kind of tough when you consider that Pelion basketball is having the season that they are having. Want to talk about Pelion a good bit, but do need to mention that the Tigers played in the Singleton Christmas Classic down in Goose Creek, Singleton Legacy Christmas Classic, and played a lot of good schools, but also had the opportunity to get their first win in 51 consecutive games. The last time the men's Tiger team actually won a game was in February of 2023. When Gilbert came to Swansea and they won by 3, 62-59. And so most of these guys, actually none of these guys were on the team when they won that game, which was almost 3 years ago. But they played against Cross High School, the Cross Trojans, very small 1A school, were able to beat them 46-45. Can you say they barely got away with it? It's a close one.
Yeah, I would say so.
And so they did win that one. And then, of course, they have had several matchups with Pelion. And so do kind of want to touch on Pelion a little bit, and we can kind of discuss that. Will Hickson is the head coach of the Panthers. In 2024, when he took over the helm, they had a 5-15 season, and then they were 16-9 last year and finished fourth in their region. They were 4-6 in region play. They were in a tough region, and then, of course, last season, which is when they went 16-9, was the first time that the Panthers had a winning season since 2019. So they had a program that was struggling, and look at what they've been able to do. And you can't talk about Pelion without talking about Colton Rogers. And so he is a problem for every team that they faced. The Panthers are on fire quite literally now. Yes, they have a non-conference. Their closest game this season was when they played a 1A team, Ridge Spring Moneta, came to Pelion, and the game went to double overtime. And a big reason for that could be the fact that Colton Rogers shot 20% from the field that night. And so the Panthers are undefeated. It looks likely that they will probably run the table in non-conference unless the Tigers can put something together and stop that. But as any real basketball fan knows, the real season begins in region play. And so that is a really big deal. And so the Panthers are averaging 56.5 points a game on offense, On defense, the Tigers have only allowed 35 points a game, so that is a 21.5 point differential that you have to come up with in order to compete with these guys. Do want to talk about Colton Rogers. He has been in this program since Coach Hickson took over. His sophomore season, he averaged 5.2. So we're not talking about a kid that was averaging these kind of things his sophomore year. He has progressed. And so his junior season, he started all 25 games, averaged 11.1 points per game and 8.4 rebounds a game last year. This season, he has come on strong. He is a dual sport athlete, so we will see him again on March the 9th in baseball. He's averaging this season 17.8 points per game, 12.2 rebounds a game, which is a double-double in averages, 2.8 assists, and 2.3 steals. Oh, yeah, by the way, he's 6'5", 180 pounds. So a beanstalk of sorts. Reminds me of the great player from the 80s for the Virginia Cavaliers, Ralph Sampson. If you don't know that name, you need to look that up. One of the best basketball players to play in the ACC. And so, obviously, Colton Rogers can shoot the three. He could score on the inside. He has played a total of 55 games for the Panthers during his entire high school career. And so they're also led by senior guard Tyshawn Caldwell, number 2. He's averaging 11.7 points a game, 3.6 assists per game. He's averaging 4.5 turnovers a game. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But they are a senior-led team. Might look a little different next year. Maybe back to rebuilding, I'm not sure, with an all-senior starting lineup and looking to see experience pay off in this game. That is something that I do want to touch on, but I don't want to spend too much time on tonight's preview. But do want to mention that folks might not be aware, but there is a transfer portal, so to speak, in high school. It's not the same way it is in college, but students can transfer. And so when we say something like, okay, this is a senior-led basketball team, next year they're going to be in a rebuild, we can't really be as confident of that anymore as it was when I was in high school because kids can transfer now. And so that's something to think about. We saw that with Pelion's football team. A lot of their playmakers were transfers, and that's just going to continue to increase. And I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but that is the nature of the beast that is athletics as a whole, including high school.
That's the world we live in now.
Yeah, and by the way, there is no NIL that I know of,
No.
right? I don't know if there's anything else going on. So let's talk a little bit about the Tigers. Obviously, this is going to be a tough matchup. I understand that. But one thing I will say about this team that I have noticed is that they do play hard, especially when they were winless. They want to win. They want to do well. And so the first matchup that they had against Pelion was in the opening tournament of the season, which was at Pelion on November the 22nd at Pelion High School. The Tigers lost that one by 19, 54-35. In that game, Zyshawn Jamison, number 0, had 10 points, and Jerry and Grant had 13. For Pelion, Colton Rogers had 21 with a 58% field goal percentage. And that's what I will probably allude to, as you guys will tomorrow, when it comes to Colton Rogers, efficiency. A lot of that has to do because when you're the tallest guy on the court, you're going to have easier shots around the basket, especially against a team like Swansea. And so that doesn't necessarily, by the way, we don't have a 6'5" guy, right? We don't have that. So that's just a fact. And so the entire Pelion team that night shot 50% from the floor. Now I want you to think about that for a moment. 15%. Against Blackville Hill High School, we shot 15% from the floor. Mm-hmm. And so they are taking smart shots. And so the second matchup also took place at Pelion. So both of them were at Pelion. This one on December the 11th. The Panthers defeated Swansea 75-45. In that game, Zyshawn Jamison had 18 points. For Pelion, Colton Rogers had 20 and shot 67% from the floor and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Tyshawn Caldwell, the senior point guard, had 19 points. So obviously he can score too because 15 of the 19 were three-pointers. So that's something to be aware of. And then number 4, Dalian Phillips had 14, did not miss a shot from the floor. And overall, Pelion shot 75% from the floor. In high school, it's unheard of.
Yeah.
So they're on a run. They're in 2A. They have played really well this season. So Matt and Noel, y'all's thoughts on Pelion? Obviously, they've got more than one good player, obviously, but y'all's thoughts on their progress and success so far this season.
Well, I know growing up, being around Pelion, I never knew them to have, a great basketball team. But on paper, it doesn't look like we have a chance. But like you said,
Got to play the game.
basketball's a game of runs.
Yeah.
And when you got guys that are bigger than your guys, do your best to keep them out of the paint and make them earn those lower percentage shots. I mean, shooting 75%, that does not happen every day. Even in NBA, that's hard to do. So I think if we just keep our hands up and just keep those guys out of the paint, make them earn those tougher shots, and I think we'll be a little bit better than the last 2 games.
And I think Swansea just has to play smart, right?
Yeah.
You know, on the paper, it looks like a huge mismatch. But if they play smart, they play their game, they play what Coach Smith gets them to play out there, it's one-on-one, one man against one man. There's
Correct.
no superheroes or anything out there. That's all I can think of is just for them to play their game, stay disciplined, not losing their cool over little stuff will be huge on this, and thinking about their shots, not just throwing up shots, but having shots, running the plays, getting into position, and then taking their shots when they're needed.
And taking care of the basketball as well. We can't give them easy transition scoring because that's how you start runs.
Yep. Well, no, you said something that really kind of pointed out to me. You said don't beat yourself. I saw that a little bit when we played Blackfoot Hilda when we were in the game there at the end and had opportunities. And also, you know, they got a great Christmas present. 2 days before Christmas present, this team does something can be considered historic. The fact that they break a 51-game losing streak, that's a big deal, and ride that momentum. But if you watch college basketball long enough, upsets happen every single week. Every week, in girls and guys. And so it can happen, and you're going to have a lot of production, though, from Zyshawn Jamison. And so I do want to talk a little bit about that because when we talked to Coach Smith at the beginning of this season, he said one of the keys for this season was that they had to keep games in the 40s. They've done a decent job of that. They just haven't been able to capitalize there at the end. And so that's kind of a big thing is keep taking care of the basketball and helping out with that. And so as far as the offense goes, they have done that. And here's the other thing you have to hope. There is something called bad days.
Yeah.
And I know from my playing days and coaching days that I've had plenty of bad days, not just in sports, anything. And so I'm not wishing bad on a young man, but you got to hope Colton Rogers misses some shots.
Yeah.
You got to hope that he either comes in hot or cold, and you can kind of keep him there because the physicality is going to play into that. And one thing that you can see is Jamaria Jones and Jerian Grant frustrated. Kind of tussle a little bit, and I'm not advocating for fouls or elbows or anything like that, but make it as difficult as possible and possibly get in his head early on to where that becomes an issue. And then, of course, a younger player that the coaching staff is really doing a good job of molding and bringing along is Carter Young, who's also a dual sport athlete. He likes to shoot that three, and I like to see him shoot that three, but he's got to be big boy when it comes to Colton Rogers as well as the other guys. So when you talk about the Tiger offense, we haven't talked enough about that. Junior guard number 0, Zyshawn Jamison, he is a natural scorer. That's very evident. He can do that.
Yeah.
He is averaging 16.4 points a game, but from the outside looking in, there does tend to be a bit of streakiness. For example, on December the 15th, Zyshawn Jamison scored 38 points against Columbia High School in a 4-point loss. 4 days later, when Blackville Hilda comes to Swansea, he scores 6. And so there is a little bit there. You say, well, that's a big drop-off. Well, they did play Blackville Hilda before, and in that game he had 21 points. So maybe they had more of a defensive game plan for him coming in to kind of, stall that a little bit. But you also got to have a good night by number 10, Jerian Grant. Averaging 8.4 points a game. He's been steady. He's been solid. But I have a player that I want to look out for. You can just call this my spotlight player or whatever you want to do. And so, and we'll talk about him again tomorrow. But one player that I think could have a breakout game tomorrow, and if it's not tomorrow, by the end of the season, point guard, number 4, senior Jordan Edmond. He has a motor. He is a very intelligent basketball player, and I can watch him read the floor, and he knows what he's doing. You say, well, Brady, on paper, he's averaging 2 points a game. I said this a minute ago. Anybody can wake up and have a great day. Basketball is that kind of game where you can do that. It's one of the only sports where you can do that and do that consistently. And so he's a vocal leader. He's very vocal. Great defense. And another player that I want us to keep an eye on, obviously Jordan Edmond, but also most of the time coming off the bench. But if we're going to slow down Colton Rogers, we've got to have this guy playing well, and that is number 15, the senior, Stanley Thomas. He played really well in his minutes in the Blackville Hilda game. I look for him to do well. He's averaging 4 points a game, but I'm not even talking about points. I'm talking about defense and rebounds when it comes to Stanley. Another guard to look out for, number 2, Nick Washington. He's averaging 4.4. And I think the Tigers have a chance. You always have a chance when you go out on the floor. I do think we need to but do better. Run the floor. If you can get a few turnovers, run the floor. You've got the small guys with speed, so use them. Use them. And don't settle shots. If you got to move it around and swing it, like I used to say, then swing it. Don't just settle for the pull-up jumpers if you can get a little bit closer. I understand with a 6'5" guy in the paint, that could be difficult. And here's the other thing. I don't care if you're 6'5" or not. If you box out accurately, you can get rebounds and loose balls. And so I think that's important to believe that we can do this. But also, let's just focus on improving. First game, you lose by 21. Second game, you lose by 30. Let's get it if you get this game within 10 with 4 minutes to go, you're in the game.
That's right.
And so I think that's something to kind of keep up with. And so you guys' thoughts on the Tiger men as they get ready for tomorrow, almost 24 hours to tip.
Well, like we said, on paper, it doesn't look like we have a shot. But I can remember a few years ago when Virginia was a number 1 seed and got upset by 16.
Yeah, the Golden Retrievers, yeah.
A few years later, Furman upset Virginia, and then also Oakland upset Kentucky.
Yeah.
So the smaller schools, we're not a smaller school, but the smaller team, it just has to be their night.
Yep.
Anybody can have a good day, right? Just like you said, Brady.
Anybody can have a good day.
Multiple times, right? It's a new day tomorrow. It's a new game. There are stats from the past 2 games, but that doesn't mean that that's how this game is going to turn out.
Correct.
It's the players that come out there and with their discipline and their coaching to see what they can do. They know that they're a better shooting team than Swansea is, so they have to use that to their advantage. They have to make sure that whatever shots they do take, that they are quality shots and not just throw up shots. And then work around with their defense to make sure that everybody is guarded and they're doing what their responsibilities are.
Well, and Noel, you kind of bring up, careful with your shots. You're not going to have as many possessions against Pelion as some of your other opponents. So the possessions you do have, you're going to have to maximize that. What do I mean by maximize that? Attack the paint as much as possible, because if you have a big man, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be aggressive if they're bigger than you. And as talented as this one is, draw some fouls.
Yeah.
You are going to have to maximize every possession and not just draw fouls, but finish at the line.
Yeah.
That's something we didn't see at Blackville Hilda.
Yeah.
I believe the free throw percentage was below 50. I could be wrong there, but it was something like that. So we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to sign off and give our thoughts and predictions for tomorrow. And we'll see you in 30 seconds, but you stay right where you are on the Swansea Tigers Sports Network. Are you currently looking for a Bible-believing church in the Midlands of South Carolina, a church that prioritizes worship, preaches the Bible, and loves their community and one another? Look no further than the First Baptist Church of Gaston in Gaston, South Carolina. For over 200 years, they've been gathering, growing, and going for the gospel right here in our community. I'm Pastor Brady. I'd love to see you this Sunday at 11 a.m. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and thank you for listening in to our preview show. We want to do more stuff like this, but we want to hear from you. Do you enjoy it? Is it beneficial to you? If you can't make the game tomorrow, we hope you can at 6 o'clock. And then, of course, the boys will follow after that. But you can always listen to us on YouTube before, during, after, whatever you choose. If you do listen to us during the game, there could be a little bit of a delay, so just kind of keep that in mind. But we are going to go live on YouTube tomorrow at 5:45. I'm excited. Look forward to seeing the Lady Panthers and the Lady Tigers, 4-4, Pelion, 4-2, Swansea, and then the undefeated Pelion Panther men and your 1-9 Swansea Tigers. Matt and Noel, any closing thoughts as we get ready for tomorrow night?
Just excited for another opportunity for our Tigers, for the girls. keep winning, and for our guys, that streak is over. It's only up from here.
It definitely is only up from here. You know, with the breaks and everything that they've had for the past 2 weeks and the Christmas holidays and stuff, bring that momentum from that win, that streak breaker win that they had, and just bring that and get with their discipline, show what they're doing. Don't just throw the ball up, throw it up with purpose, and then play good defense.
Absolutely. And if you have questions about the stats, we threw a lot at you. Guess what? You can access those on our website, SwanseaTigerSportsNetwork.org. You can check that out, a lot of different things there. Or if you or your business are interested in sponsoring, we are always looking for sponsors so that we can continue to do what we do here. This has been Brady Henderson, the voice of your Tigers. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but I want to see you either in person or live at Swansea High School in 23 and a half hours. I'll see you tomorrow. As always, go Tigers.